Hey everybody, it's Ben, and I'm back once again with another video for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing John Constantine Hellblazer, Volume 2, The Devil You Know. This first run of this series is written by Jamie Delano, and the second volume collects issues 10 through 13, plus 2 annual number 1s and a 2-issue mini-series in the Prestige format, which is again written by Jamie Delano and illustrated by Viva Vendetta artist David Lloyd. And the series is published by DC Comics under their Vertigo imprint. On the artwork, apart from David Lloyd, we have Mark Buckingham, who you may know from Bill Willingham's Fable series, again from DC Vertigo. We also have Brian Talbot and Richard Piers Rayner, Rayner. And on the colouring, we have Dean Motter and Laverne Kainzurski. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Kandzierske. Have you just pronounced that? So the story starts out, and we have the titular character and our main character of John Constantine on the astral plane, as Swamp Thing, aka Alec Holland, borrowed John Constantine's physical body at the end of the first volume of this series, Original Sins, which I've already done a review of on my channel. So if anybody's interested, by all means feel free to check out that video. Swampy borrowed his friend John's body to basically consummate the relationship between both himself and his love interest and girlfriend Abigail Arcane, which John doesn't mind so much if Swamp Thing actually asks without taking his body without John's permission. But unfortunately for John, he has his own problems to deal with, as the demon Nurgle is hot on John's heels and is basically looking for payback after John stiffed him at the end of Original Sins. We also get a flashback in this volume to events that happened in Newcastle, which were again alluded to in the first volume of Original Sins, where John Constantine and a few of his friends pay a visit to Newcastle, and they try to basically exorcise a demon from a little girl, but unfortunately the exorcism goes horribly wrong, and it basically costs the little girl her life, and this has a profound effect on John much later into his life, and he earns himself inadvertently 2 years at the Ravenscar Asylum for the Dangerously Deranged, which John eventually gets out and goes back to the world of the supernatural, which caused all this trouble in the first place. And here we see the unfortunate events and the ending to the failed exorcism of the little girl. As I said, this has a profound effect on John, and really deeply affects him emotionally. And at the same time, we also have John basically trying to deal with Nurgle, who he struck a deal with at the end of in the middle of Original Sins during that storyline. But unfortunately for Nurgle, John's MO, his modus operandi, if you will, is that he strikes deals with demons and then he basically screws them over. So there's a really cool scene and a character moment for John where he's successful in tricking Nurgle into taking a trip to somewhere where demons are not welcome, and so he deals with Nurgle, at least for the moment. And to do this, John enlists the help of one of his old mates from the Newcastle crew, Richie, who we also met in the first volume. John is also suffering from these really horrific nightmares, and there's a line at the end of this in John's inner monologue where he says, "John, my old mate, if you don't get these nightmares out of your head soon, they're going to kill you." I'm pretty much paraphrasing what was said, but basically John is vowing to get rid of his nightmares, which he does in another series, which I'll be reviewing later on down the road. We also have, in the annual, we have the introduction of Constantine, who there was actually a real life person called Constantine, who was actually the first Christian emperor of Rome. But in the Vertigo universe, this particular version of Constantine might be a descendant of our main titular character, John Constantine, but the name is spelled differently. It's Konstantyn, however you choose to pronounce that. So it's Constantine. So yeah, because people tend to mispronounce John Constantine's last name in that it's Constantine, but it's actually Constantine. But you get the idea. So anyway, we also have the introduction of some other really well-known practitioners in magic, particularly Merlin, and we also see some flashbacks to King Arthur's rule of Camelot, and we also have another really cool guest appearance by Morgana the Fae, who also shows up in this storyline. And we have like I said, we have the life story of this particular incarnation, if you will, under Jamie Delano, of the Christian ruler of Constantine. And in the 2-issue mini-series of The Devil You Know, we have basically London is hit by a snowstorm, and there's been some mysterious deaths that have been plaguing London since the snowstorm actually hit. And the artwork by David Lloyd is absolutely fantastic. And as I said, if you've read Alan Moore's V for Vendetta, you'll know that David Lloyd actually collaborated and worked with Alan Moore on the V for Vendetta series. So John basically goes on the trail of this woman that we come to know as Angel, who Angel is the basically an adopted child from Africa who was brought home to the US of A by two Christian missionaries, a husband and wife, who decided to basically adopt Angel, and they also had some other children as well. But unfortunately, events conspired against this family, and basically disaster struck, and a lot of the family members died under mysterious circumstances, and the father of the children and the former husband of the wife, which John actually pays a visit to, actually hung himself in the garage. And so here we see John in more of a kind of an investigator kind of a role, if you will. While John is actually a mage or a magus and he can actually do magic, he's also an occult sort of investigator, if you will. So he goes to try and track down Angel, which he eventually does, and he manages to stop all of the basically all of the horrible and horrific deaths that have been showing up since Angel's reappearance. So John is eventually able to stop all the mysterious deaths that have been going on at this point in the story. As I said, really fantastic artwork by David Lloyd, as you can see there. And there. I'm not sure if I showed off too much of the two-part story arc with Constantine, this version's version of the Christian ruler. So let me just go back to a couple of pages, as you can see there and there. Once again, Jamie Delano is still doing a stellar job on the writing and the storytelling. The artwork by Mark Buckingham, Brian Talbot, Richard Pierce, Rayner, and David Lloyd is also really, really good. If you're a fan of DC Vertigo, if you're a fan of magic or the supernatural, or angels, demons, heaven, hell, that kind of thing, or if you're a fan of the character of John Constantine and you're looking to get into Hellblazer, I highly recommend you pick up these new edition of the trade paperbacks, which DC or Vertigo have just recently started republishing. They're currently up to volume 5, with volume 6, Bloodlines by Garth Ennis, due to come out later this year. You'll be able to tell the re-released volumes as they've started to basically number all of the volumes, and they're also collecting and reprinting the series in chronological and numerical order, all the way from issue 1. I'm not sure what issues volume 6 will collect, but I'll put an annotation in as to what number issues volume 6 Bloodlines will collect later on this year when that particular trade comes out. If I had to give this second volume of John Constantine Hellblazer a rating, I give it a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. And that about concludes this review video, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Didn't like it, thumbs it down. But as I always say, if you thumbs down the video, please feel free to tell me why in the comments below, or send me a private message. If this is your first time viewing one of my videos and you'd like to subscribe, by all means do so free. And until next time, this is Gambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys later.